of the kind of pressures that they face on a daily? Did you get my question, Faith?
Yes.
What sort of support should widows get? What sort of support do you think widows should get in Nigeria?
All right. Well, it can be said that no group is more affected by the sin of omission than widows. The population are painfully absent from statistics. Today, that population, like never before, have challenged many conventional views and assumptions about, in the courts, the invincible group. When I talk about widowhood and the resultant effective spousal loss, I talk as someone who isn't just directly affected. I lost my husband. I am still a widow, but as somebody aspiring to see a change in the narrative of widowhood, because the narrative has evolved from what we saw as that fallen, aged, indigent woman seeking to feed herself and her household. We're in the 20th decade. To see a shift in the demography of widow as young, within the ages of 18, 45, and 50. I am about 45 years old. I'm an educated woman. Educated young women are being affected today. Women with strong, amiable, and social leaning. This becomes a tough call for those who should administer care or support. My area of focus is women within the demography because they're usually not captured. They wouldn't want to come forward. Widows naturally don't want to come forward. No woman wants to be tagged a widow. They are willing to come forward. They wouldn't want to come forward. They have psychosocial and psychosexual needs. The bane of my advocacy actually has been inclusivity. The psychosexual areas that I have...
Faith, thank you very much. Unfortunately, we have to end it there in the interest of time. And I see her Felicity with me. Felicity, finally, before you go, just tell us in a second the challenges that you faced having to do that.
No, but I want to quickly react to something she said about widows not wanting to come forward. I beg to differ that most of them are willing to come forward. But to what purpose? These ones that opened up and told us their story, of what effect has that story
and of course
been? Has their lives changed, really? These are the questions we should be asking. It's not a matter of widows not wanting to come out. It's when they do, what help do they get? The challenges, I think, basically for most of them, is, for Grace in particular, I want to mention Grace again because her story is something that needs to change. She still lives in that condition. Our children are still not in school. She barely survives on a daily basis. And the piece of land she has is somebody's threatening to take it away from her. And there's literally nothing she can do. So I want to, if we can get one person at a time, lift her situation, and then the possibility for others is endless.
One widow at a time. Thank you so very much, Felicity Ezewike, for shedding more light on that story. And please remember that you can still watch the whole video on our YouTube page on Plus TV Africa. And that's a news roundup of events at this hour. For more news updates, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. We'll be back again with more stories making the headlines. Join us again. I am Amaka Okoye. Have yourselves a great day.
A lot of the jobs that exist today will not exist in the next 10 years. 10 years.
When I see people today shouting, we're not too young to run, we are ready to run. Ready to run to where?
The people of excellence are, to a certain extent, being held ransom by idiots and bandits.
Once you are in government, you believe everything you do is right. And once you are in opposition, everything the government does is wrong.
And so it's time for us to take over power.
The Oshafa Pottery Center lies in the ancient village of Oshafa in Buari Area Council on the northern axis of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. It was established in 1991 as part of Mariam Babangida's Better Life for Rural Women project during her tenure as First Lady, showcasing the skill and creativity of women potters in Oshafa community. Sadly, the center, which was a major tourism attraction site and could boast of visits from former U.S. President Bill Clinton, former Egyptian military and political leader Hosni Mubarak, one-time British Prime Minister Tony Blair, and the former Swiss Vice President Ruth Mesler, has now become a shadow of itself. Plus TV Africa, in collaboration with Google Nigeria, alongside media practitioners, journalists, and social media influencers, visited the famous Pottery Center to showcase it as one of the important landmarks on Google Maps in Abuja, Nigeria.
Google Maps has transit information for nearly several thousand agencies, which means transport agencies for all around the world who provide transit for people, and more than 3.8 million stations in the world. Over 1 billion kilometer worth of transit results every day. And that's mind-blowing.
We were given a demonstration of the local way of making a pot such that designs are achieved using local tools. For example, twisted strings or notch wood over the surface of the clay.
She tends to go round and round about the pot until she achieves the desired shape and height. Then there are some tools equally here she has that she used to equally design it, then shaping it, then smoothing it. You have to turn and turn. She has to turn around so that the wall will be even. If you don't turn, the wall will not be even. The essence of she turning is for the wall to be round, for the clay to be even round. You can see one other tool here. That one is like a rag.
Are you serious? Out of that small. How did she do it? Wow. If they didn't show you, it's magic. This is down. Wow. Magic.
That's how stars go.
The range of beautiful products created include incense burners, teapots, beads, plates, candle stands, water jars, cooking pots, bowls, and flasks. The people of the Oshafa community have been relentless in sustaining this ancient tradition of pottery making, while they hope the government will come to their aid in terms of investment and well-packaged products for exportation, which will generate more revenue and better their means of livelihood. Elsie Godwin reporting for Plus TV Africa.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
To an extent, the reading culture of Nigerians is not too good. A lot of people believe that every other thing is much more important than buying a book to read. Apart from the fact that people just want to read books for the purpose of passing their exams or going through school, hardly do people believe that reading outside that purpose still will help them to an extent.
It's been full of ups and downs. Nigerians don't read. I dare to disagree because, we're 16K followers strong on our Instagram account, on other platforms as well. We also have a huge following. So if at all people are not interested in books in Nigeria, we don't have people follow in the first place. And it's so exciting to find out that there are so many people outside of Lagos in deep core parts of Nigeria that buying and shopping for us, and they are just so excited that, oh, this book is locally available and it's sort of like within reach for them. So it's been exciting. It could be better, but again, we do it for the culture, you do it for the passion, and hopefully more stakeholders get interested in it, and it gets better. I got into selling books because I was very passionate about it, and then I was hungry to find other people like me. I wanted to connect with them, and the kind of books that fascinated me were not, I could hardly find people around who were excited about them as well. So at the time, when I interact with people within my age range, they're either talking about some foreign authors that write books outside of the context that I'm familiar with. So I wanted to meet with other young people, other people of like minds who were excited about the kind of books that I liked. And that was basically how it all began. And then beyond that also, I definitely used to go to some website online to find out what books are first to reckon with internationally. And then most of those books are not available locally, so I had to either shop from some big names out there. And then I thought, if these books are available and people are actually talking about them, reviewing them, perhaps there might be young people or people in Nigeria as well that would really want to read about them. So I end up bringing a few copies, see if I can circulate within my circle, publicize, use social media, and see how far it goes. And so that was how it all started.
It's actually more like born out of inspiration, and then the drive to bring books closer to people, because at some points that I loved reading, I found it hard getting the kind of books I really always wanted to read. So it was like, you could get this for other people, and then it's been there for me. So I'm having fun doing what I'm doing, and I'm the fact that I can have access to books too as a bookseller is fantastic for me. Yeah, it's been profitable. It's how you do the business that makes it profitable for you. So it's been profitable. It may not be the best of the businesses in the country or in the world, especially maybe in this part of the world, knowing fully well the attitude to reading and education generally, and then even government's attitude to education, So, but still, there are still people who know that without education, they wouldn't be where they are. And then even if they are not educated, they get the best of educated people to work for them. So that means education, which comes through reading of books, is a key and vital role in this life.
It has enhanced reading, but what I realize is that even for those who normally would not like to buy a Bible before, because of the ability to read their Bibles from their phones. A lot of people are beginning to dump reading Bibles on their phones with buying regular Bibles, because they've seen the importance of having to carry a Bible or read a hard copy Bible. When people read from their phones, most times they can't easily go back or even highlight certain things. But with the hard copy Bible, they are able to do some highlighting, go back, make references and all that. So technology, to an extent, it has its own advantage and its own disadvantage to our business. Advantages are the fact that people could, read at any time they want to, in the dark, wherever. But disadvantage is the fact that it's handy, when you have your books on your media, electronic media. But for those who still cherish the hard copy books, they still come back, to pick up the hard copy books from us. Lots of Nigerians are writing more, because virtually on a daily basis we get new books from Nigerian writers, asking that Latana should carry their books. It's a bit challenging, but at the same time we try to encourage them, to review their books and then accept it for display on our shelves.
We still battle with issues of piracy. There are times where royalties are not paid the way they are supposed to. Publishing houses don't put enough effort to promoting books the way they are supposed to. So that way books and people are not even aware that some Nigerian authors are writing really, really good books. I think sometimes more books written by Nigerian authors are sort of like accepted in the Western world better than they are locally. And also in terms of marketing, publicity, locally, more effort still needs to be put in place to help us combat issues of piracy, and then ensure that people are more able to access so many of these books as well locally.
For book lovers, I say keep reading because you know already what you are gaining from reading. And then for governments, give more allocation to education. Allocation to education is very important, and you can't have a government that just places less emphasis on education, and every year you expect your people to be better, and then there are fightings. Any small thing, any little thing, there's fights, and you know it's all because of the level of exposure and education of the people, and it's playing a role in every facet of the economy, every facet of the society, because people are not well enlightened about their rights, about the opportunities that they can actually get, and many of those things come in through parts of education, and reading is part of it.
A lot of the jobs that exist today will not exist in the next 10 years.
When I see people today shouting, we're not too young to run, we are ready to run. Ready to run to where?
The people of excellence are, to a certain extent, being held ransom by idiots and bandits.
Once you are in government, you believe everything you do is right. And once you are in opposition, everything the government does is wrong.
And so it's time for us to take over power.
On Plus TV Africa News at this hour, Nigeria's Ministry of Health says there is no new case of coronavirus, urges Nigerians not to panic. "25 people killed in South Africa bus accident."